This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Welker Farms. But before that, this video is brought to you by Chris Miller and Galcomp Gamer. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Welker's Farm map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for all platforms. Let's read a little bit of the description. Welker Farm is located in north central Montana and has been in the family since the homestead of 1912. 2 grain sell areas at Chs Grains and flour mill, a lumber yard for sale of logs and wood chips, sale areas for hay, straw, wool, and cotton. Use local water source behind Chs Grains, several fenced areas for placeables, abandoned mine where you can sell your stones. There is a treasure hunt, and there is precision farming support with a custom soil map. Now, this map also has 5 required mods. They are the Case IH Magnum 7200 Pro Series, the Big Buds, the Set 450 and the 747, and then we have the Bergolt and the Terminator seed carts. Let's go ahead and load on in. We are going to use the mods that we typically use when we take a look at these maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, precision farming, and of course we have the required mods. Big Bud 450, the Big Bud 747, the Bergolt SPS 36040, and the Hasenbelcher Terminator 18TH. Yeah. And there we go. Let's go ahead and watch the map load on in. I will say if you load this map up...
This is Nick Welker speaking. I just want to say welcome to my family farm, and I hope you all have a great time farming.
Well, look at that. We have a nice little welcome. I was going to say, if you load this map up in Farm Manager or start from scratch, when you load up the farm, it is mostly empty, but not 100%. Some of the things remain, like this building right here, the pallets, the wheelbarrow, and lots of other decorative elements around the main farm remain in Farm Manager or start from scratch. That is also then reflected in what you can or cannot sell on the map with respect to the farm area here. So just be aware with respect to can the farm be customized. I'm going to give the map a half a point because you can get rid of most of the stuff. And the decorative bits that still remain are available, so you don't have full customization of the farm area, but you do have the ability to customize a fair bit and completely reorient things if you want. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA. And anyone familiar with Welker Farms for FS17, FS19, and now FS22, this PDA is quite familiar indeed. We do have all the standard crop types available to us here in Farm Sim 22. And in New Farmer mode, if we take a look at our lands area, we have the main farm, which also includes the silo area. And we also have another storage building right up here, kind of to the northwest of the main farm. We also own Field 9, which is 24.95 acres in size. Field 3, which is 59.61 acres in size. And Field 2, which is 73 acres in size. And that is all the land that we own in New Farmer mode. We also have the ability to pretty much buy everything else on the map. We have the ability to buy a lot of placeable areas down here by the shop. We can buy the unquote unbuyable land, which includes all of the road networks. We also have the ability to buy most of the sell point locations. This is the sawmill, for example. Let's go ahead and jump up here to the farmland lease screen. And the farmland lease screen is used to show us all of the buyable farmlands, how big those farmlands are, if those farmlands include fields, which field or fields are on that farmland, and then how much the land is going to ultimately cost. So let's go ahead and just kind of scroll through this list. You can slow the video down or pause it at any one point in time You want to take a look and see about a particular field number with respect to the farm land and how much that is going to cost you. And then if we jump right onto the field calculator screen, this is going to show us all of the actual buyable fields and how big each individual buyable field is without really respectful of how much buyable farmland is around the field itself. Take a look at our crop counter. We do have a base game crop counter as best as I can tell with respect to this map. Let's jump back up here to our soil map and go ahead and see what that Montana soil map is going to look like. So looking at the soil map, we have a big swath of silty clay covering a lot of the map, including the area here around the main farm. We've got some loam, some high quality loam soil, and some sandy loam in here. Not a lick. Maybe a little speck here, a little speck there of loamy sand. But overall, this map is predominantly silty clay. Now, if we take a look at our prices screen, you will see that we do have the ability to sell most of the crops. We don't have the ability to sell grapes. We don't have the ability to sell olives. Now, I assume that this was done on purpose because we don't necessarily have grapes or olives around the Welker Farms area. But I would like to see, regardless if this is intended to be 100% realistic to the area, let players play, and I like to see all maps, regardless of where they are based, have the ability to sell all of the base game crops. Now, with respect to animals, we do not have the ability to sell eggs. We do have wool and milk sell points. There are no animals pre-built into this map. If you do want to do chickens, you're going to have to put down your own egg sell point, but we are set for wool and milk. We do not have the ability to sell wood chips, oddly, because there's a sawmill on the map. Not sure why it's not listed here. If we continue on down, so we take a look at our production. Well, yeah, you're not selling anything, which is rather intriguing because we have a sawmill on the map, planks. We have a grain mill on the map, no flour sell points. So we do not have the ability to sell any base game production. Big old fat zero. No base game production sell points. In the 1.0 release, I would love to see this map get updated and have the ability to, at a bare minimum, to sell planks, to sell wood chips, to sell flour. Those are built into the map. I would like to see the ability to sell everything because, you know, maximum flexibility. We do have areas for you to put down other things. So I would like to go ahead and see you be able to sell said other things. We do have a bulk line buy point. We do have a debris crusher for the sale of our stones. Take a look at our vehicle overview. You can see that we have all owned equipment is all new. None of it is leased. There are no animals on the map. We do have contracts available. There's none showing up right now, but we do have contracts, and we do not have any production chains at the start. There is one collectible, aka the reason why there is a treasure map. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the K7250 Pro, and this is where the required mods come in. If you're the kind of player that's like, I don't like required mods, I'm not going to use them, well, then you won't start with the starting equipment that you're going to see here. That's the gist. If you don't want to use the required mods, then you don't have this starting equipment. If you are in Farm Manager or Start from Scratch, you still, actually no, you don't have the starting equipment anyway. So go ahead and play in that mode and then just build out your farm however you want. We have the Big Bud 747 and the 450 under large tractors. We have the Case Axle Flow 7150 harvester. We have a Lizard pickup truck and the Mahinda Retriever. Heck, we might not even have to buy one. We got one already. We have the Pace Setter semi-trailer, but notice we do not have a semi-truck. We just have the semi-trailer. You're going to need to find your own semi-truck in order to acquire that. We have the Demco 2200 dual auger grain cart. We have a 25-foot TerraFlex header. We have the Speed Tiller 465 disc harrow. Then we have the Terminator TH18 and the TH 1400 air cart for our seeder. We have the Hardy Mega 1200L sprayer. And then we have a custom convey all auger. We have a pair of those. And it has a listed position camera listed. Now, you may also have noticed, like I said, we've got this big axle flow harvester. Holds 10,570 liters of product. But it's paired up with a little 25-foot Terraflex header. This is why. Let's take a look at our PDA. We have large fields. Okay? When we have large fields, we're going to have a big harvester because we need a big storage capacity in our harvester to hold the grain. Ideally, farmers will size their header such that they can make their way across the field before it fills up. If you have a massive header on a massive harvester, you're going to fill that thing up faster than if you have a smaller header on a massive harvester. And if it means that you can make one pass down the field before you fill, that's good, because then you don't have to worry about running the auger wagon up and down the field constantly to fill up your harvester. So first thing you probably will do is swap out that header for a larger header. Now, with respect to mods that are built into the map, here we have the Welker Farms. We have the custom conveyall, and then we do have a custom Wilson pace setter, and here it says continuous discharge on it.
Hi, Nick Welker speaking. I just want to say welcome to my family farm, and I hope you all have a great time.
You can't hear that, but he just gave us the intro again when we jumped into the shop. All right, let's go ahead and do our farm tour. All right, so this is where we landed on into the map. We have our pickup truck. We have our good old dog, Kobe. I'll be honest, I don't follow Welker Farms, so I don't know if Kobe is the dog on the farm. Inside of here, we have our sleep trigger over at the bed. We have our Mahindra Retriever is inside of here. That's right. There's no collision on the door. We have a Mahindra in there. Guess just got some general stuff going on. Nobody hiding in the freezer, thankfully. If anybody remembers Millennial Farmer map from FS17, there was somebody hiding in something over at the chicken coop, I think. Right now, this house, as best as I can tell, is totally just decorative, but we can sell this house if we wish. Speaking of decorative, this tank right here, this is decorative. This is not a water fill point. This is not a fuel fill point. This is just purely decorative. As is that. Inside of here, we have the Welker's Farm shop. Inside the office, we have a maintenance trigger right there, the vehicle workshop trigger. And then we have our maintenance area right there. We do have a lift. If you want to do a little bit of role play, you can raise and lower things. Nice storage buildings. We got some collections of some racks. I like this. I don't know why. I like this little corner. I like the light coming through here. It's just nice little cool little touch. Got some big bud parts up in here. Oh. Good thing that wasn't occupied. Now, these buildings are placeable. We are going to take a look at the build mode here in a little bit. Nice custom roll doors. Here we have our big buds parked out in the Montana sun. Got our seeder, our air cart, and the bulk of the rest of our machinery is located inside of here. This is a fuel area to refill, so we can come up here and refill with fuel. Now, this wrench, right? Typically, when we see this wrench, it is implying that we have storage and we can add to the storage. This wrench does not serve a purpose. I really don't know why this icon is here. There's no trigger here, but this is basically a fuel buy point. It's not a fuel storage area. It is simply a fuel buy point. And we have grain storage here on the farm. Some smaller bins. And there's a bit of a trick. There's a bit of trick with these bins. I want to show you the trick. So in order to get product out of the bins, we have to come up here and we have to click left click. And you'll notice now we have the discharge icon. So with the discharge icon up, now we can pull product out. Or not. As far as filling, we have to come over here by the door and we can say silo load control open. And you'll see the lid open up and then the trigger pop up. So we can't put product into the bin until we open the top, and we can't get product out of the bin until we open the bottom. So each and every one of these bins is its own unique storage. Here we have the custom conveyor. And let's just go ahead and take a look at the build mode. We pretty much have looked at the main farm at this point. So if we look at our sheds, we have all the base game sheds, and then we move into the Welker Farms sheds. We have a fairly decent collection of houses, some sheds, and then we do have the ability, if we want to, we could put down another shop. Big Sky Equipment. We're going to see this vehicle shop here in a little bit. We could put down another shop. No, we do not get a second shop trigger. In fact, there isn't even a shop trigger at the shop that's pre-placed on the map, but we can buy the shop. We can buy another Chs Grains sell point. If we wanted to, it seems. We can buy another gas station. And then we have the Welker buildings that we can put down. This building is absolutely fabulous. A functional half shed. That's the shed that we have a Mahindra in that doesn't have a collision on the door. And then we have, not sure why in the sheds area, but we have a silo. Each one of these silo apparently is going to hold 250,000 liters worth of product. Under silos, which is where I would expect to have seen that silo, we have custom. This silo complex, which is going to be over by the harvester, which we're going to take a look at in a little bit. 1.75 million liters worth of product. We also have some flat bottom bins, 1.1 million liters in this bin. Silo extensions, standard containers. We have a lot of stuff going on here custom to the map. We have a lime buy point. We have a lime storage point. This is decorative. This is decorative. This is not a container of any sort. In fact, this is over here. This is this. I don't know why it's here, but it's not going to serve a purpose of giving you anything. It's decorative. Here we have our fuel station that I mentioned. Is simply it says 15 liters, but I can't actually use the wrench for anything. And if we come up here, this is a universal buy. Quite possibly this is a fuel tank that does have capacity. It looks like this one, but it behaves differently than that one. We have a seed silo. Again, we're going to find this over at the other area. We have then multiples of this entry. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all the same. They all have the same missing shop item, Welker Farms in L10 in English. Basically, we are missing the English language entry for this particular silo. We have these over at the other area. These can store herbicide and liquid fertilizer. That is what these are. We go to tools. We have a switch. We're going to find this down in the mine. Okay. Farmhouses, we have our farmhouse, complete with kid play area. We have our pool. We have tanks that again serve no purpose. Why they're under the farmhouse category, I don't understand. Under production, we have the grain mill that is included with the map, and we have the sawmill that is included with the map. But again, we don't have listed the ability to sell wood chips. Maybe we can sell wood chips, maybe we can't. The sawmill is going to make wood chips. I don't know if we have the ability to actually sell wood chips. Sell points, base game stuff, greenhouses, orchards, generators. There are no custom animals included in the map. We're going to skip over decoration. I do not advise you to go to the decoration tab and click on anything that has the Welker Farms map listing in 1.0. You will get a repeating Lua error. Your game will lock up. You will need to force quit in order to get back into the functional game. So I would avoid the decoration tab, specifically fences, and specifically clicking on anything that has Welker Farms listed. I'm not going to scroll too far because I don't want to get to that point and have to restart this game save. With respect to painting, we have some pretty standard FS22 ground textures, pretty standard plants, I think, that are a part of Elm Creek. And then we have the Elm Creek trees also available. Now, I'm on a tab real fast. Over here to our harvester, which is over at the other silo area. And we have this awesome building. I know some people that wanted a building like this to be placeable just in the game, let alone included in the map. If this became a standalone mod, I think it would be much, much loved. In addition to the main farm where there's a lot of decorative bits that stay, all of these decorative bits stay as well in all play modes. They can't be sold. Inside the farm, we have those silos I mentioned where we have multiple of those silos. And these will hold liquid fertilizer or herbicide. And we can come up here and we can buy those. Unlike the fuel icon, the wrench here works. Herbicide, liquid fertilizer, 133,706 liters. And we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 of those. Here we have our header for our harvester. We have our seed silo. Then we have a secondary silo here where we can have our dump station. We have our fill pipe. And then we have 4 standalone silos. And we have our bottom, and then we have our top up top. We have our semi-trailer, but again, we don't start, for whatever reason, with a semi-truck. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull this out, and we're going to use this later. But let's go ahead and get set up for our fly around. Let's fly around the map and talk a bit more about what's going on. Let's go ahead and grab some altitude. So this map is mostly flat. There may be a little bit of an arc, a little bit of a bow to it, but overall we're talking a fairly flat map. We got some big fields. This is some big time farming here. Welker's farm is known for their big buds. They're known for their big fields. And while this is a standard size map, so it's 2 kilometers square, we do have a fair number of fields, but they are clearly cut down from what they would be in real life. So we do have, at least across some fields, a utility pole network. These utility poles do not have collisions. So you'll see we can fly straight through them, so we don't have to worry about hired helpers or our own driving on these. We can just drive straight through the utility poles, should we so wish. I'm going to go ahead and fly up here to the northwest corner of the map, and that is where we are going to find our flour mill, our grain mill. And speaking of production, as I said earlier, there are two productions built into the map. We have our grain mill and we have our sawmill. I would not buy them because you can't sell flour unless you put down something like a universal sell anything mod. I think one exists on the Giants mod hub, maybe by Schultz modding. And then once you place that down, you will be able to sell not only your flour, not only your planks and wood chips, but you'll be able to sell everything and anything else that you may wish to add. So we do have a lime fill point there. This is a nice feature of the map. We have a nice little pond here. Guys fishing. Just kind of lazily moseying along the river. Do have an additional placeable point here again if you want to put down more production or build the area out. As we move across the northern part of the map, we are going to come across to our sawmill. Let's go ahead and just kind of look across. There we have the silos area removed from the main farm. Main farm off in the distance. A little bit of forestry going on here. Not a whole lot. If you're going to be doing a lot of forestry, you're going to be firing up the planks here and having some place to sell it, then you're probably going to be planting your own trees because you're going to quickly run out of trees to harvest here on Welker's farm. So move down here to area 6. We have our milk sell point as well as our bale sell point. We are going to give the map a full point with respect to having production built in, because while we only have 2 production areas built in, we do have a multitude of areas to be able to place production. So we are going to give the map a full point there. So this building does have a collision, so you will be needing to work around this building, which is out in the middle of the field. We have we buy hay and straw. We have our milk sell point located right here. And then inside the barn, I really think this is a cool idea. Inside the barn, we have our bale sell point. Now, I don't know what's up with these buildings. But there are, those buildings, like the one out there in the middle of the field. I don't really know what that is about. Again, I don't watch Welker Farms channel, so I'm not really familiar with Montana farming. This might be a thing. It might be something related to gas, like those other buildings were. If anybody knows what the deal is with these buildings kind of out in the middle of the fields, let me know down in the comments below. We got another one here at Field 15. With respect to being able to sell base game products, crops, animal outputs, and such, we're going to give the map a 1/4 point. We do not have the ability to sell olives. We don't have the ability to sell grapes or eggs or wood chips or any of the other production. So we can pretty much sell crops, including sorghum, a new crop for FS22. We can sell sugarcane. We can sell cotton, but we can't sell eggs, grapes, or olives, or any other production. So we are going to take a pretty big cut on the map and give the map just a 1/4 point with respect to that. We've already talked about the farms being customizable. We're going to give the map a 1/2 point there. So we have our fuel point. Then here are several of these fenced areas that, again, can be bought individually. And then production points can be put down here to further expand the production on the map. Here we have Big Sky Country's vehicle shop. And if you are the type of player that likes to use the vehicle shop icon to buy your equipment, you're going to be at a loss here because there is no such icon. So we come into the shop and we come up to the service desk. But what this is. This is the service desk because you can see we open the dealer customize, repair, repaint. This isn't the sales desk. This is the service desk. I've yet to find the sales desk, if there is one. I'm concerned there isn't a sales desk, and as a result, you're not going to be able to buy things here using the icon. I am going to go ahead and pick up something just so we can see where things spawn in at. Now, every time I load into here, you can't hear it. But every time I load into this, I hear very faint Welker talking in the background. In addition, in the back, where I would expect the service area to be, we have the service area. We have a trigger, and we also have yet another dealer customize, repair, repaint trigger. And then outside, we have another trigger. So I'm thinking this trigger is activated by, well, either the one in the building or the one right here inside the roll door. And then this one is activated, hopefully, by this one because of its closer proximity. Now, I'm going to show this to you. It likely is not going to be something you're going to have to bother with because if you're like me, you just leave the doors open all the time. But something that I hope gets fixed in an update is that these doors are not coded as if they are actual windows. So it's the door shut. What you're seeing here is parallax occlusion. Or sorry, you're seeing occlusion culling. The game doesn't think we can see through this solid door. So it's not rendering the stuff outside. If I open the door, now the door is open, now it's rendering that stuff. Right? So this is called occlusion culling. This is a feature within FS22. So if you notice this is not a problem with the map per se. This is how the game functions. But I would like to see the door get corrected. You're going to see that scattered around in other parts of this map also. The roll doors around the back have that when you get up close to the windows. They will basically go into that nice weird area. So here we have our vehicle spawn point for things that we do buy from the, not the dealer shop icon, but from just hitting P or whatever button it is for you. Here we have Chs Grains. And I am looking. Is this the dump trigger? I mean, this appears to be the dump trigger, but we do not have the floaty blue icon that I would kind of expect. And the icon itself is kind of off to the side. This is definitely where we are going to be dumping our grain. Would like to see the little floaty blue icon to help with player location. Down here we have our lime crusher. Nice little mine area. And remember I said that there was a clue. There's a treasure hunt. Here we have clue number 3. This is cool. I like this. It's a log area. And remember that siren I mentioned? That is listed as a placeable something. Well, using this will blow up your farm. I'm going to do it. No, our farm is safe. Nothing happened. Our farm didn't blow up. So we got some more forestry down here. This is an area that we can buy, so we can have kind of a little secondary farmyard down here. See, our farm's still safe. Nothing blew up. We have some more placeable areas here between fields 13 and 1. And then the final area that we're going to take a look here during our fly around is down here in the southwest corner. Now, with respect to are the buildings where appropriate using the new texture technique and also ground textures also using this technique, I'm going to give the map a half of a point here because most of these buildings are using flat textures. All the custom buildings at the main farm are using those textures. A lot of the silos over at the silo area are using those textures. The Big Sky dealer is using those textures. The grain mill is using those older style textures as well. So here we have our animal dealer. This is our lime silo, I believe. Lime storage, that is correct. We have de root. Sell point. So that wrench doesn't do anything. On this side. Not doing anything on this side either. So we have our dump grate, but we do not have the ability to like buy lime in. So we have the root. We have a wool market. Located right there for our wool and cotton sell point. And with that, I'm going to fly back to the main shop or the main farm, where I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Mahindra from there and do the drive around. We're going to hit the triggers once again, driving around, just kind of getting a general feel for how the land looks. And then we'll talk about the final rating metric, and then what we're going to give the map as far as a final score. We'll be curious to know what you all think of Welker Farms. Are you a fan of Welker Farms YouTube channel? Are you a fan of this map in FS17? Were you a fan of it in FS19? And are you once again a fan in FS22? Is this a map that you've played in 3 different games? Or maybe you're just new and this is your first time around. So I think we'll do a little bit of a different tour this time. We're going to start in the southwest where we ended our flyover. So we got a little bit of roll here, but not a whole lot. Based on where I come from, this is flat. But others, it might not be so. But you should be able to, with the elevation, minimal changes here, you should be able to pull larger machinery with slightly underpowered equipment without too much of a hassle. And the way the road network is set up, it's going to feel and play like it's a bigger map, because there's so much that you have to kind of go across the map, then you got to go vertical, then you got to go across again. So it's very hard to go anywhere in a direct method, or direct course. So we're coming in here to our animal dealer. If we do place animal pens on the map, this is where we're going to be able to buy our animals. And then we have the entrance to the root crop sell point. We have a lime storage way down in here, and this is going to be interesting, because if this is right, this is storage, lime storage. I know I'm saying that a lot because I'm not really sure where we get the lime out of. I guess we just dump it here and fill from it. There's no out pipe. I think you dump your lime into there, and then you back up to that general area and fill from it without having an actual pipe to dispense it. And then we have our wool, again, inside of this building here. Or you could just buy this area and just use it as a farm, a base of operations if you wanted to. And now, in order to get up to the flour mill, right, we're going to have to come up to about the middle of the map, traveling north. Then we're going to have to travel across about a third of the map to the east to turn around and travel further north to get up to the next road. Because we can't make a direct route. See, and that's why this map is going to feel a lot bigger than it really is. This map does not have AI traffic. So if you like AI traffic, there isn't any on this particular map. Maybe you're not a big fan of AI traffic. Well, that's perfect, because this map doesn't have any. You see how far removed from the road these utility poles are, how wide the road is. You're not going to have any issue bringing massive pieces of machinery up and down these roads to work these fields. Fairly large headlands between the field and the road, as well as the poles, so turning shouldn't be too big of an issue. So let's see if this is a lime buy point. I think this is a bulk. Yep, bulk seed buy point. Now let's see what this silo complex is going to store. Oh, I'm too short. Too short. I'm going to assume it's going to store your standard grain crops. Is what I'm going to assume it's going to store. Yeah, we got the long road up here to get to the grain mill, and then another possible placeable area. Overall, I feel that this is a FS19 map that has been brought into FS22. I don't feel that this is an FS22 version of Welker Farms as much as I feel that this is an FS22 import of the FS19 map with of course a grain mill and the plank production facility. So we definitely have production, but I feel that it's the fact that we don't have the ability to sell flour, but we can produce flour, really just makes me feel that the flour mill was added for the sake of having it and not so much thought through with respect to, well, if you have a flour mill, should we not have a place to sell said flour? A nice boat launch. I'm sure we can come down here and get water also. Again, if we have our animals right there. And that's the general thought I have with any map that has production but doesn't have necessarily the ability to sell the production that you have. In those cases, I feel like the map production was put in for the sake of having it, but it wasn't thought through thoroughly with respect to, now that you have it, what does that mean? The player needs something else in order to make use of it. That's one reason why we have these scoring metrics, to weigh all maps against the same baseline. So now we have to make our way up to the sawmill. Had you been able to come straight across the north from the flour mill to the sawmill, right, your travel time would be reduced. You would feel the map is smaller because you're not having to travel these great lengths to get not so great distances. So we have our dump point for our logs. We have our wood cell trigger. We have our pickup point for our wood chips. We have our planks around the back or side. Right here. And our interactive icon also around the side. But again, if you buy the sawmill, you're not going to be able to sell the planks or the wood chips that are going to come out of the sawmill until you put down something else. Let's make our way across the map, past the main farm, and once again we're headed over there to the bale sell point and the dairy and milk sell point. And then we'll make our way down south to, again, where we have our final grain sell point. I'm going to put some grain in the Mahindra, and then we're going to see if we can indeed sell it down there. Now, given the fact that the map has very little decorative going on, right? It's mostly fields, so it's not a whole lot of area carved out for the farm. There's not a lot of areas carved out for sell points and such. You do have a very large area for more larger scale farming, and that is kind of what Welker Farms is known for, and therefore you can somewhat replicate that here on a standard size map. So we do have traffic along this road. Just not apparently along the east-west road. As I said during the fly around, we have our bale sell point in the building. I think that's a really cool concept. And then we have our milk sell point located right there. Down here to the grain sell point. Now, with respect to trigger and player interactive areas being clearly marked, I want to give the map 3/4 of a point for two reasons. The first reason is the sell point up here, we don't have the little floaty icon. Would love to see a little floaty icon for consistency's sake because we have the little floaty icon everywhere else. Would love to see the hash marks on the ground if we don't have a little floaty icon, or best of both worlds, both. We are also, I would like to see maybe some more indications at the main farm, those silos, that you have those interactive triggers, right? I think players may get frustrated if they don't realize that there are interactive triggers there and can't figure out how to put grain in the silo, or if they do manage to get grain in the silo, how to get grain out of the silo, because those interactive areas that are there are not, in my opinion, super well marked. Let's go get some product in here. And let's see if we can sell it. No. I'm not getting a mark, a thing. Is it because I'm too short? I don't know. That's interesting. I would like to know, are you all able to sell here? I can't even get out. Huh. So overall, we're going to give the map a score of 3 out of 5. Is this something I have to interact with? Do I need to scream into there, hey, I want to sell grain? If this isn't a sell point, then where is it? Huh? Right? I don't know. Again, maybe we shouldn't be giving the map 3/4 of a point with player interactive areas being clearly marked, because, well, if I can't figure out where to sell wheat, I assume we can sell wheat here. Let's look. Chs Grains, that's where let's tag it. So 3 out of 5 contingent. That is the sell point. What? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know, people. Let me know in the comments below. Where do you sell grain at the Chs Grains sell point? Overall, looking at the overall scoring, maybe we should give it a half a point with the trigger interactive areas. Maybe it's 2 3/4. It's something along that general range. Ultimately, let me know what you all think down in the comments below. Am I being overly critical, or am I being overly nice? That is up for you all to decide. Ultimately, I personally, if I were to be playing the map, I would wait for an update. But again, you're not me, you're you. So you may choose that this map is excellent and ideal as you see it right now, or it may be something, again, that you may be interested in just hanging out and waiting a little bit and seeing if it does indeed get an update to correct some of these little issues. Until next time, happy farming.